Welcome to Adventures in Suzuki Parenting. I'm Jody St. Clair, and today we are going to be talking about Suzuki Essentials, why we learn by ear. I'm going to start with a quote from Dr. Suzuki. Musical ability is not an inborn talent, but an ability which can be developed. Any child who is properly trained can develop musical ability just as all children develop the ability to speak their mother tongue. The potential of every child is unlimited. Either if you're just starting out and exploring what the Suzuki philosophy is, or if you've been doing some Suzuki lessons for a little while, you've probably heard about the mother tongue method. That's often how Dr. Suzuki referred to it. And what he was talking about is that we learn music similar to how we learn a language. You also may have heard that Suzuki students do not know how to read. And I would push that that is actually a myth. It is something that maybe was true, that Suzuki students struggled with reading at one time, but Suzuki teachers all around have really worked to bring more reading into their studios. We're going to talk about why we still learn by ear from the very beginning and why that's so important, and how that differs from other methods out there. So one of the things about learning by ear is that Suzuki students often start around the ages 3 to 6. And at that age, most children are not ready to really begin reading in their mother tongue language. They are going to be starting to do some pre-literacy exercises and awareness. Maybe they're understanding letters, they're understanding sounds that they make, but they're not to the point where they're connecting letters and sounds or understanding how to put how to put all of that together. So music tracks in the same way. Your note reading journey it shouldn't start until they are at a reading level when they're learning to read books as well. A 6-year-old is usually very ready to be doing some reading, and they're really starting to piece it together. And so that's really where we can start introducing a lot more reading. Now, it isn't just dependent on age. I'm going to talk a little bit about violin here because that's where my expertise is, but violin is a very position-oriented instrument. And so we want students to feel really comfortable with their instrument and have a really good basis, a foundation of position and where everything belongs before they start reading. That way they can use more of their senses towards fixing and working and perfecting those concepts. So if we start reading really early, I have now eliminated their ability to really use their eyes to check their bow hold or check their fingers or check over their body. And sometimes students don't use their eyes a lot anyway. We have to train that up. But if they're reading, we really take that away from them, and it's such an amazing tool for them to use. And certain students, if they're really visual learners, then it's even more important. We're looking for the age being the correct age and the correct developmental level ready for reading, and that they are at a place where they are starting to be fluent in their playing. That means they're comfortable with their instrument and they are able to find notes pretty easily after they have heard the piece over and over from listening. Dr. Suzuki really was creating an immersion technique by creating this rich environment full of music, aka listening, and then from there being able to fluently speak on the instrument. And then the next step is to fluently read your language. Those are kind of the steps that we look for and why it's so important to be playing by ear from the beginning. I also, as a side note, really appreciate the tradition of learning by ear. In folk music, for us, fiddle, bluegrass, or Celtic, or whatever whatever genre you like. The tradition is usually an oral tradition. And so if you're interested in anything other than classical, it actually pairs up really nicely with being able to learn by ear. Many pieces that are in folk traditions are passed down by ear in different regions. And even though there's a wide amount of printed music available now, it still is often passed down by ear in whatever region you're in, just whichever version of the tune is being played in that region. Being able to have the ability to play by ear opens up your opportunities to play a lot of different styles. To sum up, why we learn by ear. We learn by ear to learn music as a language. We learn by ear to use all senses to help fix mistakes. We learn by ear to master position on our instrument. We learn by ear to establish the ability to hear pitch and rhythm and produce that pitch and rhythm on the instrument. So when are we note reading ready? When the child is an age that is developmentally appropriate. This varies by the child. And when fluency in playing is established. So if you found this video helpful, please click on the subscribe button. And if you feel like maybe another parent would really also benefit from this, maybe you have a friend who's interested in lessons or is just starting out, this would be a great place for them to kind of begin understanding what those Suzuki essentials are. And please share this video with a fellow parent. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video.